Coming up next, we have the Kyushu University Asia Week 2020 International Symposium with the theme Design of the After Corona Society from an SDG perspective. The chairman of the jury, Associate Professor Minako Ikeda from the Faculty of Design, Kyushu University, will be the moderator for this symposium. Associate Professor Ikeda, please.
Thank you for introducing me, Minako Ikeda again. And we would like to start the second part of this event, the International Symposium. And I will be the moderator of this symposium. And now I would like to introduce our panelists again. So Professor Kumpyo Lee, Dean of Hong Kong Polytechnic University School of Design from Hong Kong and Korea. And Mr. Kazuo Tanaka, and President and CEO of GK Design Group, Inc. From Japan. And Professor Rupesh VS, Professor of Art University, Department of Media Studies from Finland and India. And Mrs. Nobuko Shimuta, she is an editor and CEO of Future Research Institute, Inc. From Japan. And Mr. Eisuke Tachikawa, he is a representative of Nosaina from Japan. So now we would like to start our international symposium with the theme of design of the after Corona society from SDGs perspective. Actually, our starting point is, of course, the SDGs Design International Award, which has the theme, it's an overcoming the pandemic and design for evolution. And I used actually the word pandemic. It's not just Corona or COVID-19, because now we are facing the Corona virus, the Corona COVID-19, but I think it's sooner or later, this Corona problem will be solved. Yeah, but still we have kind of crisis or risk of many different kinds of epidemic. And we had, and we have now, and we will have the kind of problem issues when we see in the world. So I chose the word pandemic, not just COVID-19. But if we think about SDGs, sometimes we think the SDGs is quite abstract and quite far. But now we are facing the very concrete problem that is COVID-19. So the second part of this event, International Symposium, I try to focus on the society of after Corona. So, and so that we can think more closely and more concretely. That's the point. So, and we had with another five judges, we had a very exciting discussion and judging process. And now we talked about what is design quality. The design quality is not just about aesthetic and functionality, reliability, and sustainability, and so on. But we should think of the emotional side of design. This is also very important. And then the design quality is based on the very detailed research, detailed and systematic research process. So the quality of design is not just the result, but include the process. And for example, the feasibility, we talked about the feasibility. Feasibility is not just the product or just the output of design, but we should think of the system level. I think the system level or background of the product or service and so on. So now we should think when we think about the design, we should think about many other things altogether. So design should be integrated. That's the point of our, that's the point, and that's the difficulty of our judging process today. Okay, and now we would like to start the, I would like to ask each of judges to give the comments, including the short self-introduction. So could you please, Professor Rupesh, would you like to start?
Yes, Menako, thank you very much. This is wonderful initiative by Kyushu University. And it is really important initiative. I'm so thankful to be part of this judging this award ceremony. Aalto University and Kyushu University has a collaboration in many ways. Kyushu University is also part of Cumulus organization. Some of my colleagues were mentioning about that I should talk about Cumulus partnership with Kyushu University, and it is really good to continue this dialogue. So myself is Rupesh Vyas. I'm a professor of practice in Aalto University as part of the media department. And previously I was with National Institute of Design. Before joining Aalto University, I was teaching in National Institute of Design in India. And it has been an interesting journey to look at all your entries from the first shortlisting to this now final stage of shortlisting of different categories. So it was really difficult time to put, all your work into different specific categories, because many times we felt that your work belongs to many different categories. So when you look at what award you got, do not just think that you got one specific award, but it is kind of crossing to multiple aspects actually. So I would just give you overall suggestion to overall all of the teams that SDG is really important aspect, and if you are dealing with SDG issues in early stages of your career, it is really important to kind of focus and take it as a meaningful approach, because this is going to define our future. Designers are having major impact on our future, the way we work, way we consume different material. So it is going to be extremely important for your future careers in design. So just be mindful, as Minako also mentioned, that it is not only about aesthetics, it is not only about quality, or it is not only about impact, but how everything works in interrelation and in terms of systems. So all of you should try and achieve and approach your designs in systems thinking, and always thinking from sustainable development goals in the future. So good luck with all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rupesh. So how about SK? Would you like to give us some comments?
Okay, can I share screen?
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your presentation, and yeah, we really appreciate that for the judging process and choosing the award. Let me introduce slightly a bit. And I'm a designer working on the pandemic, working on how to prevent the pandemic. And also that I'm personally a researcher for researching the similarity between the biological evolution and the creation, such as design and innovation. Can you? Okay, let me share again. Seems that I'm researching the evolution and the similarity between evolution and creation, and also that I'm working on the pandemic. So in the perspective of these, I would like to comment with your works that in biological evolution, the uniqueness of the evolution happening between the unique mutation, and also the relationship to the ecosystem. And this time that every one of you guys has kind of both perspective. And for example, that in relation-wise, that the educational system or the donation system is strong, but in a way that the uniqueness of the mutation, coughing, got the hours. So I believe that the SDGs is a kind of relation, the list of questions. What kind of relation would be needed in the future for us? But as a designer, I believe that we can find a more unique and more unique and in a way diverse possibilities through designing the new ideas. So yeah, like these days that the design is quite broadened, and almost anything can be called as design. But we as a designer need to be I believe need to hold the quality and also the uniqueness in both hands for tackling these challenges. And that is, for me, that is the role for challenging the problems as a designer. So this time that you guys has each of quite unique and wonderful strengths for design. So let's think about your balance. What balance was missing, and what balance was strong for you? And for the next trial, please feel these two together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, SK. So we would like to ask Nobuko. Would you like to give us some comments and thoughts?
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, everyone. So I enjoyed your presentation very much. All the proposals were very, very powerful. So it was very difficult to judge. And it was very difficult for the student to judge the proposal you had taken seriously. So I have been involved in design as an editor of the design magazine, and then as a journalist, and then as a producer and now I'm researching the city and the transitions designs now. So where are we going? Thinking about where we should go. That is my theme, and the theme of my company, Future Research Institute. So it may have been difficult to think a post-COVID-19 world because a situation we have never experienced. But I saw there were a number of proposals for a new kind of city, our built environment, and people relationship. All the proposals are very powerful. So, and among your proposals, the second presentation, vessels, which won the Grand Prix, conveyed a sense of designing for the blue rivers. I think it is very important for the future of the design to explore the design and dignity and beauty of each culture. I think it's also very important to look at reality and combine with modernity and cooperative relationships in the world. It was a very much suggestion for human condition. I'm glad to see this kind of proposals emerging in the context of SDGs. So design is the job of the thinking about the future. It's difficult to predict the future accurately, but we can think of it. We are all the ones who create a better future. So I think it is important to keep looking around our world. It is more important to keep thinking and keep trying and keep designing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And would you like to give us some comments, Kazuo?
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all of you. So I very much enjoyed your presentation and very much stimulate my mind and brain. So this theme is very difficult for us, but I couldn't believe those are the student project. So maybe I think because of your own experiences from on your countries, that's why you think about these issues, actual feeling. That's why you solve the very nice solutions and very nice ideas. And I'd like to say that all of you have have a grand prize, but Vessel has a grand prize. Is one thing different is spiritual meaning it has. That is different from others. So this is very important issues for thinking about our future. That's why we choose Vessel's is grand prize. But other 4 entries is also very nice to shoot for the grand prize. You should have the confidence to you are finalist and you have a good ability. So I think that after Corona, so I will be talk about the divided two stages. So during the Corona will be continued next year, the year before next year. So we have think about the problem solving perspective. There's the 3 aspects of the problem solving. Now, I think the one is a social institution or social system. For example, on the COVID-19 problem, it is a lockdown city. It's a rule kind of a system. And secondly, the science and the technology approaches. That means now it's many companies are struggling to develop the vaccine and solution of the medical point of view, and also the face shield and the mask, and that is a tangible design is also related to the science and technology. And thirdly, I think there's awareness building is much more important. Through these entries, some of them also have this kind of point of view, which means the social distance and the habit of the hand washing, something like that. Here in the Mr. Tachikawa-san, he writes that the Pandoid is a very good idea for the education and the promotion and changing the world. So these 3 points of view related to the design, so that first one, the social institution that's related to the service design. So the two of them, these entries are very much focused on the service design. And secondly, the science and technology. This is also related to ordinary product design and architectural design like that. And also this vessel is a very nice solution of the problem. And thirdly, as I said, that awareness building is like Pandoid. So it's related to the communication design. So I mean that during the problem solving process is service design, product design, and communication design, combining those of various design approaches, connecting to a comprehensive approaches to solve the problems. So after that, we 1, 2, 3 years later, the world will be changing completely different from the 20th century's societies, which means so we don't, if we don't need the mega city, the bullet train, jumbo jet, or big city skyscrapers, it's not necessary. Maybe, I don't know, but working style, the lifestyle is changing. At that time, so we have to think about what is most important issue. Which means I think that the heart or mind or own humans, what do I say? It's a truly mind. So it's different from the human-centered design. HCD is just based on the solution-based or desire-based, but humanity design is much more different from, much more focused on the heart. That is the next era will be made through the design. That is my point of view. I said, again, the congratulations, all of you. And there is also that we think, I hope your success in your future. Thank you very much. This is my first comment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And our last commentator, please, Kumpyo Lee, Professor Lee.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Kumpyo. Originally, I'm from South Korea, as Ikeda introduced me. In South Korea, I taught industrial design for more than 30 years, and one of the most prestigious design school in South Korea, KAIST. And also, I was lucky to be invited by LG Electronics for 3 years, and I was a leader, chief executive designer of the LG Electronics Corporate Design Center, where I learned a lot. Then 2 years ago, I came to Hong Kong now. So I'm now in Hong Kong to be a dean of the School of Design in Hong Kong Polytechnic University. I'm very sorry that to see there was no entry from the School of Design Hong Kong Polytechnic University. And from from now on, I will strongly encourage that we will make sure that there is some submission from our school, okay? Because in our undergraduate program, we have Department of the Social Design, which is very much aligned with this all the SDG and things. Okay, that's part of things. Okay. Well, I think all the other my colleagues judges already how wonderful you are, how good you are. You know, I agree totally with you. I mean, all my friends, you're so wonderful, and the way of presenting, the way of framing the social issues were wonderful. So I really learned a lot also from you. Okay. From my short experience in Hong Kong, last year it has been 2 years I've been in Hong Kong, but out of 24 months, I think nearly 15 months were on the exceptional cases in socially and pandemically. Okay, as you may know that in the last year there was a big social unrest in Hong Kong. So there was I experienced many difficulties. But this year, as you all like you, also that pandemic. Okay. But from my experience, about 40 years of professional experience, I realized that this kind of crisis risk is somehow good fertilizer for innovation. Okay. For example, before pandemic, this kind of the online meeting was only possible through the Skype, and also if Skype and for some few meetings. Okay, but now during the pandemic, it's not an option. Okay, it's must, right? Now everybody should really accept the online meeting. Okay, so that kind of things, attitude. We designers, it has been a decade, okay, to discuss about what is the future learning. Okay, we discuss about remote learning and online collaboration and so on, so on. It was just by only theory, but now, thanks to pandemic, we have to, right? So I think there are many good sides of the pandemic. Okay, obviously, the paradigm, big progress of design. The progress of design is historically looking at Second World War. Okay, after Second World War, all of a sudden, design become a real profession. Okay, I hope this pandemic is not a only crisis to give us all our mankind to difficulties and ordeals, but let us take this good side of this, what this crisis will bring us. Okay, this is wonderful. Okay, without this crisis or risk, we would never think about this kind of online judgment, online, presentation, everything. Okay, so we will see. We designers, as we have been doing in the back history of whenever designers comes out, this is a good opportunity to make our big contribution to overcome the crisis, to more better future. So that's why we always said, with School of Design, Hong Kong Polytechnic University, our slogan is shaping the future. I hope all you guys work hands in hand together to shaping the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we would like to start discussion. The crisis. We are now we are facing the crisis, but the crisis could be a chance to make an evolution, to make the future. In this point of view, maybe what will happen after Corona society? Maybe there is a kind of utopia scenario and then at the same time dystopia scenario. What do you think? What kind of society we will have after Corona?
Let me be brave to be first, okay?
Yeah.
I think even before, even before that, the pandemic, and of course, the pandemic made us to work individually. We should be stand alone, okay? But even before pandemic, thanks to all the technology, all the open source, design has been democratized, okay? Each individual, they have design competency now, okay? So if you see that the maker movement and YouTube single media player and all those people, okay, technologically, culturally, already there has been good groundwork. Each individual can contribute to each other, okay? In the past, it was not that way, okay? But now with that kind of groundwork already done, now pandemic is here, okay? So that kind of what the design democratization, collective intelligence and crowds source and everything with the pandemic. Now it has kind of synergistic effect, and people begin to they generate their own creativity to contribute to their solution. Then what is the designer's role in that kind of things, okay? I have been, emphasizing that designer has been one very single in-depth professional designers, but now we are living in the world, every people, every non-designers, every crowds, they are doing their own design. They are doing somehow, they create something for their own problem. Having said that, our designer's role is not only generating specific design, but also enabling other non-designers to help them to create their own design problems. So designer's role is more and more creative leaders, enablers, that kind of things. So we designers, education, profession, we has been tremendous demand to transform our role of design in this pandemic, okay? So once again, this pandemic drive us designers to think about who are we, okay? What is our new role in this world, okay? So that was a really big question. Otherwise, we would never asked, okay? So I think that's the role. Particularly the senior designers, like my colleagues, it's about time to think about what is the new role of designers. I think that is the good opportunity for me, okay?
Thank you. And new role of designers. What kind of role should designer have? Yeah.
May I give a comment? As Lee-san have said that we already passed many of pandemics in the history. And one memorable pandemic is about 100 years ago. Spanish flu, is on pandemic on 1918, I believe. And the next year, the Bauhaus has begun. So the timing, so the timing of the emergence of the design, the current design is actually quite stimulated with the pandemic. But on that time that what designers try to make is a kind of new life for human. So in a way that they would like to help the human. So it starts the human-centered kind of way of designing, like the object for humans. But after 100 years, and now there is a kind of quite similar situation. And actually, there was not a war. Actually, Hong Kong had a war last year. But yeah, actually, we didn't have a war.
So war venue was Hong Kong Polytech, actually.
Right.
Don't be
I'm
said
very
that.
sorry about it. But yeah, the point is that, but I believe we are on the war now. What between war is that now we invisibly fighting with nature and invading with nature. And you know that the several billions of the koalas, kangaroos were burned in the forest last year. As you already know. The point is that now this pandemic can be a kind of chance for rethinking about the role of designer, not only for the human-centered design, but also multi-centered way of thinking with nature. I mean, we can start to think nature as an individual. And
okay. Can I have a few more comment? Or any other? Is it okay?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
sorry.
So
okay.
just like it's small. Yeah. So talking about design role is we have to think about small d and big D, so-called. Yeah, so 20th century is based on the small d, which means traditional design way. And but it's not a transition, it's not an expansion to big D. Still, it's including small d inside the big D. So both two meanings is still very important, but we recognize the value of big D. And also, as everybody says, through the pandemic experiences, the accelerator of the changing era is digitalization, or there's a change. It could be change the role of design and the meaning of design. So the much more bigger meaning. So we have to recognize the value of small d and meaning of big D. It's both two is very important. So that is my point of view. So it's a very important issue about for designers, 20th century designers, 21st century designers also have to think about that. Sorry for
I believe that as Tanaka-san's word, big D, I mean that 100 years ago, or in the age after the war, like Lee-san said the mid-century as well, they had big D, but we forgot on the history, like we have quite specialized, and also that we forgot why we need to design, and why we can project to the future through designing. And now the theme is slightly changing, but now it's quite exciting is that everyone is recovering big D, and such big D had the mission or vision have quite changed, and also that as Lee-san have said that the digitalization make a kind of different space for us, like this Zoom. But it's really wonderful that if we have the different room, then the point is that what if we can think of the giving space to the nature as well, like after in corona days, I mean that the lockdown, actually the nature quickly recovered during that day. That is kind of sign, I believe.
Let me touch upon the Eisuke's beyond the human-centered design. Okay, I agree with you. I echo your point. Okay, it should be modern human-centered design. Okay, but I think the good side effect of pandemic this time is the, we recognize human being is not only single creature in the entire universe. Okay, what human-centered design so far, many designers, that human-centered. I believe that human-centeredness was too much egoistic.
Yeah.
Thinking that human is the only creature, all the universe ecosystem, all other creature, all other systems should obey to human. Okay, I think that is obviously coronavirus pandemic that this time give us big lesson to realize that human being is not the only creature. So that I like this kind of development. Now today's only our 5 young generation, young talents, all of them somehow they come out with the design solution as a more system, right? System is, that where that one of the what definition of system is that summation of parts is more than the system is some more than summation of parts, right? So we need to think about that. What is human-centered? What is a human's role with others? Okay, that ecosystems, and also likewise in interaction design. For the first time, we designers think that device as the thing we should interact together, right? So likewise, okay, in the ecosystem, now we need to think about how human being can interact with other creatures, other natures, other resources, to do, to have a more sustainable, all those things, and the survival for the future. So I think that what's the background of why the SDGs are for, okay? So I think that's what we need to really develop. So as an academia, by myself, I feel my obligation to develop new method, new process, about new body of knowledge. How can we really design? How can we design or can contribute to post-human-centered design? Okay, I think that's what my comments.
Yes, very nice comment.
Thank you. So I think it's a small d and big D is quite important aspect. What do you think about this? What is a small d and what is a big D? What's the difference, or what's the relationship between small and big?
It's very simple. A small d is a traditional ordinary design web. It's focused on the tangible design. But the big D also including the focused on the intangible issues. So it's related to the expansion of design. So design is product design, graphic design, architectural design. Those are tangible design. That is related to small d. But UX design, service design, the social design, is meaning of design, the role of design expanding. That whole D is expansion, which means a big D, I think.
Yeah, thank you. As Kumpyo said, and everyone could be a designer in the future, or now already. So everyone could be can make a small d and also a big D, or how, if necessary, if possible, how can we do that?
I think of course that the definition of small d and big D by Tanaka-san, I think that's a well accepted definition. But also another way of defining the small d and big D is that in more lexicographical terms, small d is more generic sense of the D, whereas big D is more professional D, okay? For small generic sense of D, all human being, all mankind is somehow designers, right? Like the Bill Moggridge, the late Bill Moggridge said, okay? It's every human being, they have problem solving capability, they have creativity. So that's generic words of D, design, okay? You know, people, non-designers can say, oh, I need to design today's schedule, okay? That's perfectly fine. But big D is more that what the professional, you know, something, this is what our designers' professions and so on. So, you know, in a small, narrow meaning of D, big D, you have the, you know, design project, you have something. So that is another interpretation we can do, okay? So having said that, I think we needed to develop new big D to foster the small d now, you know, is because the crowds, non-designers, there are many things they available in open source and the maker movement, you know, the computers and everything. So, you know, even now the AI is also generating logo type, typography, everything. So there are a bunch of all the easy, ready to use, I mean, to make the use the so-called design, okay? So general public now rapidly approaching to the level of the, you know, the doing the design, you know, more conventional sense of design, okay? Then we need to really define what is another type of new big D, okay, by our role of design. That's what I'm saying, okay? Okay. So conventionally, I think you know, in education, there are two different categories of education. One is more like medical science, okay? Medical science, if you major expertise is oncology, which has to do with what cancer. You need to really, you know, cancer, okay? You cannot do other things, okay? You know, you used to do really only cancer, okay? That's another profession. But another profession, another way of knowledge is MBA, okay? You teach the MBA, you learn MBA, but you don't have to be businessman. You don't have to be the marketing people, okay? But MBA is more like generic sense of the everybody, every problem you can apply, right? Design professionally, I believe so. The skill set, the body of knowledge has been like what the medical doctor, okay? You learn how to design product design, and your skill set, your body of knowledge only for designing the product. You cannot apply your rendering markup for other problem solving, right? But now with designers has been changing, like for example, design thinking. Design thinking somehow, you know, it's very popular. Design thinking is kind of a new kind of MBA skill set, right? You know, everybody apply for design thinking for different things, right? Different things, okay? Likewise, okay? That's what I'm saying, okay? Designers need to have a more skill set, leadership, you know, to enable what are the non-designers to help them to really create their own things, okay? So as educational, academia, we need to think about if that transition is true, what kind of things we need to teach, okay? Other than just design thinking, okay? So I think that's a really serious, provocative, challenging questions we need to answer.
I believe that now what we are facing is the question for how to update the creativity and the way to learn the creativity. And thankfully that the design has a kind of similarity between the quite essential creativity itself, since that it has also problem-solving way of thinking, and also the uniqueness way of thinking, and also and it's getting together with also economy or many kinds of aspects. But I believe that design also has such kind of way of thinking. But why design thinking is so getting popular is that actually there is there is no good way for teaching the creativity in the society, I believe.
Design thinking, the applying creativity, not educating the creativity. Applying creativity to the creation work.
But design thinking mainly for non-designers, right?
Yes,
Basically.
of course. Yes, not for designers.
Yeah, but design thinking also, what is the core component of design thinking, okay? The understanding empathy for users, right? Which is human-centered design, okay?
Yeah.
And quick prototyping, right? Generating solution as you're finding problem, right?
Yeah.
So that's the core competence of one of the core competence of what designers has, right? And having empathy for humans, and also whatever they think that they quickly prototype as a way of finding problem, okay? In the past, the problem solving process always analysis, synthesis, evaluation, such an engineering process. But designers all of a sudden, Tim Brown and what is his name of the Toronto marketing professor, they come up with the abductive reasoning for as an example of design thinking. Okay, so design thinking is well accepted to that all the non-designers, non-design professions. So I think that's a really good thing. Okay, as myself, I'm kind of the my expertise is design methodology. Okay, design methodology. Design methodology. In the history of design methodology, we have been importing all the methods from other profession. Okay, for example, persona. For example, ethnography from cultural anthropology, and usability testing from the cognitive psychology. We always designers, we never had our own method, but design thinking, I would say, is the first method we designers come out with and export to all the other profession. So that's good. But bad side is that the design thinking is somehow misreceived. And I see that many non-designers after 2 hours workshop, I'm now design thinking expert, okay? They think that design is nothing but a post-it clustering and, okay, this is a design thinking. So, we designers, as an origin of design thinking method, we need to really keep curating, okay? To elaborating, articulating design the thinking, okay?
Actually, design thinking is kind of not good from my point of view as well, because it's quite missing many of things. But in a way that that is a part of creative thinking. But why I'm now researching for evolution is that for coming back to the very essential of what is creativity. And also that what we are facing now in the world is that the changing of the ecosystem of the human being as well, or nature as well. So we need to adapt the different situation. So and design I believe, has quite strong possibility so that it can be visible for some envisioning for the future, and also that it can make it something real. So yeah, as Lisa have said, that I believe that the design would be a kind of central part of central philosophy for everyone, not only the professionals, and also that the tools are quite getting easier and easier day by day because of digitalization. But at the same time, like in that way, that now today's presentation is quite obvious that they have quite skilled in presentation, but they may have lack of what is the essential question is for SDGs or for the world. And such kind of way of creativity actually has kind of less way of learning, and that is I believe that the potential of that part has a potential to update creativity, I believe.
I speak too much. Can I speak?
Of course, yeah. It's just 2 or 3 minutes, please.
2 or 3 minutes, yeah.
Okay. I think the SK-san question, asking right question is very important. Okay. Ikeda-san, who is more research, I think when I supervise PhD students, out of 3 years, let's say 1.5 years, I ask him to my student to focusing on bring the right question. Okay. If you identify right research question, your thesis almost halfway done already. Meaning that the asking right question is very critical, very important. So today, our 5 young talents, that's what I really miss a little bit. Okay, what are the really essential questions you wanna address? Okay, why do you think that question is relevant, critical, valuable? So that is really our young talents should have attitude. We need to have that kind of things rather than, okay, I will have beautiful solution for this and so on. So asking right question, why the question is relevant, that is, I think, best important.
Yep.
I'll jip.
No, thank you very much for. Okay, we have now 5 minutes. So thank you very much for exciting discussion. And I'm now trying to wrap up our discussion, but it is very difficult. But we talked about the after Corona society, the designer should think about the social rule, and it's kind of social rule. And then second, it's science and technology, and awareness buildings from Tanaka-san, and Kumpyo. And you said that you already said everyone can be a designer, and the designer should be the professional designer should be kind of educator or a kind of visionaire or the kind of things, yeah. And then after Corona society, we don't see now in this moment we are trying to solve the problem which we are facing, because we are now in the middle of the pandemic problem. But after Corona, we should imagine the future, and for thinking the future, as Eisuke said, we should think something essential. What is relevant? What is most important? Not just on technical things and the skill to solve the problem, but what we think how work should live in in the international level, in the global level. So it's including the living with nature, not just a human-centered design, but humanity design, or we should live with the nature. The kind of things. I tried to wrap up the whole discussion. If you have something to add, please add.
Yes, yes. If I may add, the designers' role of designers is to make people feel power of design their own lives. So I think we need to create more situations where designers are with people. It's not teaching a teacher relationship. It is not teaching because designers have been at the back. Life and designer. The designer designs platform, but I think designers should live with people, among the people, to empower the people, I think.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, agree. And okay, we have just 2 minutes, but please tell me, the conclusion. Would you like to say something? The
last words from my experience of the Exceed board members is today we're talking about the expansion of design, but the basic meaning of design is the same. It's design for better world. It's never changed. And also now transformation era, so we could make a future. Design makes future. That's my last word.
Yeah.
I miss Ohashi.
Oh, yes, come again. After Corona society. After Corona, please. Okay. And the last word. My last word is something different.
My last word then is for, I also saying too much. So yeah, the final is that to find the essential relationship, please think two ways. One is to think only someone with quite emotional way, like who really you'd like to move or help, or and each one of individual are different. So universal idea can be powerless sometimes, but at the same time, please think universal way. Actually, our essential is the same. Like, we would like to eat something in this hour almost, or we would like to go to toilet, or such kind of essential is quite the same in this modern 100,000 years. So please think these two ways. Please grip these two ways for finding essential questions.
Thank you very much. And Rupesh had to leave because he has a lecture or something. So thank you very much for everyone. And thank you very much to the audiences and for judges. And we had a very fruitful discussion. I'm very happy to be the moderator. Thank you so much. And see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Associate Professor Ikeda, and all the panelists for their valuable insights on design, the role of design and designer. In this pandemic and in the future, it's food for thoughts for all the students and in fact, all of us. Thank you very much. Now, we have the Director of the SDG Design Unit, Professor Shigeki Inoue, to give the closing remarks. Professor Inoue, please.
Thank you for joining us today on SDGs Design Life. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone. And Vinny Bona Face, congratulations for the Grand Prix, and other winners, congratulations. So Vinny Bona Faces, so you focused on a big part of what the pandemic has taken away from us, which is saying final goodbye. I was moved by your perspective to pick up these issues, and also was inspired by all ideas using gestures to educate primary school students in a fun way, using apps to educate disabled children sustainability. All the solution itself was full of creative ideas and great work, and I really learned from you. I strongly believe younger generation around the world work together to make the better world. Listening to your valuable message from all the panelists of the symposium and Fukuoka City and high school students and many others, I'm convinced that this event has become an opportunity for us to build a new society together with everyone around the world. So let's continue this event and let's take action together. And I want to express my gratitude to many organizers and individuals who have helped make this event possible. In particular, I would like to thank the Nishihon City Bank, Fukuoka Design School, Saibu Gas, Miyoshi Real Estate, Okamura Yuko. We all like to express our deepest gratitude to Kyushu Hakuodo and all the staff for their support. Next year, we are planning to hold the third SDGs Design International Award again. To all the students who couldn't make it to the preliminary round this year, we want to thank you for your participation. And we will looking forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you so much and see you all soon.
Thank you, Professor Inoue. I hope everyone has a good learning experience today. We invite you to use today's awards, the efforts of the high school and the Asia cities, and the sharing from the symposium as an opportunity to think about the way we live and work in the after-corona era, as well as the social system and international cooperation. That's all for today's event of SDG Design Live, a day the world evolves. You can view this award, which was streamed live on YouTube today. We thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you again next year. Goodbye.